Parabolas, day 1. A parabola is the set of points in a plane that are the same distance, equidistance, from both a given point, which we call the focus, and a given line, the directrix. So we can label these points on our parabola. This point right here is what we refer to as the vertex. This point right here is what we call the focus. This line is called our directrix. And this blue line right here is what we refer to as the axis of symmetry. We have two different forms of parabolas. We have vertical parabolas and horizontal parabolas. The equation for a vertical parabola, which you must memorize, is y is equal to a times the quantity of x minus h squared plus k. Our vertex, notice, is h comma k, so inside is opposite. If a is less than 0, our parabola is going to open down, and if a is greater than 0, our parabola is going to open up. Vertex form of a horizontal parabola, you can see that our x and our y switched spots, and our h and our k switched spots. So the formula for a horizontal parabola is x is equal to a times the quantity of y minus k squared plus h, and our vertex is still h comma k. If a is greater than 0, our parabola is going to open up to the right, and if a is less than 0, our parabola is going to open to the left. So this must be memorized. Write each equation in vertex form. Name the vertex, identify the parabola as vertical or horizontal, and what direction it opens. So when we have a parabola that is y equals, I know that it is vertical. In example 2, we have a parabola that's x equals, so I know that this is horizontal. And then, in order to write in vertex form, we need to complete the square. So we're working with x squared plus 6. So if we have x squared plus 6x plus our box, okay, then you want to put a pretend equal sign that'll eventually disappear, plus positive 3 because we moved that, plus box. So we have our quantity of x something squared is equal to b divided by 2. 6 divided by 2 is a positive 3. 3 squared gives us a 9. 9 plus 3 is 12. We need to subtract our 12 back to the other side of our equation, so we get x plus 3 squared minus 12. We now can see that the vertex of our parabola is at negative 3, negative 12. So outside stays the same, inside is opposite. Our a, or our coefficient, is positive, so we would say that this opens up. So we have a vertical parabola that opens up. Moving on to example 2, we said that this is a horizontal parabola. So we have x is equal to y squared minus 6y. We need to complete the square, move our 11, y something squared is equal to, so b divided by 2, negative 6 divided by 2 is negative 3. Negative 3 squared is 9. Negative 11 plus 9 is negative 2. We need to move our constant back over. The inverse of minus 2 is plus 2. We now can see that our vertex is at 2. So remember, because this is horizontal, our h is on the outside, and outside stays the same. Inside is the opposite. And this is going to, because it's positive, open to the right. Open right, open up. Write each equation in vertex form. Name the vertex, identify the parabola as vertical or horizontal, and what direction it opens. So looking at example 3, I can tell because it's x equals, it's going to be a horizontal parabola. So be really careful when we complete the square, our coefficient of our squared term must be 1. So in this case, we need to factor out of 4. So if we divide that by 4, we get y squared. If we divide 24 by 4, we get a positive 6y plus our box. We didn't have any constants that we needed to move, but remember when you have your box on this side, you need to multiply whatever's in it by 4. So 4 times our quantity of y, something squared, so b divided by 2, positive 3, 9. 9 times 4 is 36. When we move that 36 back over, we subtract it. We now have our vertex at negative 36, negative 3. Our A is positive, so we know this opens to the right. When we take a look at example number 5, you notice that 4x is our term that's not squared. So we need to make sure and subtract our 4x to the opposite side of our equation so that we can write the equation or the standard form of our parabola. So after we complete the square, we'll get rid of our negative 4 in front of our x. But first, let's complete the square. So we have y squared minus 8y plus box equals positive 6 plus box. Our quantity of y, something squared, so b divided by 2 is negative 4. Negative 4 squared is positive 16. 16 plus 6 is 22. We need to subtract that 22 back over. In order to get x by itself, we need to divide. Remember, there's a 1 out in front of this parenthesis by negative 4. So we're going to divide this whole quantity by negative 4. 22 by negative 4. So we get x is equal to negative 1/4 y minus 4 squared. A negative and a negative becomes a positive 5.5. So it is x equals, so it's a horizontal parabola. My vertex is at 5.5, comma positive 4, because inside's the opposite, and our A is negative, so this is going to open left. Looking at number 7, we have 4 times the quantity of x minus 2 is equal to y plus 3 squared. So the first thing that I want to do is I want to distribute my 4. So I get 4x minus 8 is equal to y plus 3 quantity squared. So I recognize that this looks pretty good over here because when we have our standard form of a parabola, we have a quantity squared. So I can add my 8 to both sides, and I get 4x equals y plus 3 squared plus 8. I can then divide by my 4. Don't forget to divide everything. There's an invisible 1 out front of your parentheses, so you have x is equal to 1/4 times the quantity of y plus 3 squared, and 8 divided by 4 is 2. So I have a horizontal parabola. My A is positive, so it opens to the right. And my vertex is at 2. Inside is opposite, negative 3.